Okay, so let me give you some union news. I actually sued the organization I work at. It actually happened several months ago. This case has been ongoing for some time. This is why I didn't really want to share much, because when you're in the midst of it, it's kind of scary, at least to me. And granted, thanks to our union lawyer, we just happened to be lucky to have a lawyer on our team. I didn't really have to do much because he was the one representing me in court. He was the one who I trusted with the process, and I don't regret that at all because, I mean, we're on the same page. We're both communists, so yeah, this was just a lucky coincidence for us. But yeah, as of today, the case has been resolved in my favor, meaning that I won, and I am going to be compensated for being unlawfully written up. And it is probably still going to continue. The organization's probably going to appeal, which they did before when they tried to sue. They did sue the union. They did appeal the decision that it was in union's favor, but they still got the same answer on a different level, on a district level, then on a city level, they received the same answer. So we'll see how it goes. So this case is kind of still not quite done, unfortunately. And the reason why we on our team decided that I need to sue was not just personal revenge or whatever. It was to show myself and our union members that we have the power and we can use the legal means to fight for our rights. And the fact that I was written up in that one case, that was definitely not fair, because not only did they break the labor code and the law on unions by just not going through the legal process, which I'm not going to talk too much about because it's going to differ from place to place. Labor codes and labor laws are going to be very different depending on where you are geographically. But even from a personal standpoint, from my personal experience working at this organization for 17 years and all my colleagues working there for multiple years as well, we've never been written up for the thing that I was written up for because it was so minuscule. It was such a small thing that people never paid attention to. And me getting written up during, our union struggle, that was kind of obvious that they're trying to suppress union activity of any sorts by any means necessary. So I know that if they could fire me, they would. Absolutely. I know that they're just waiting for me to leave, which of course makes my life kind of miserable, because some of these people I actually thought I had somewhat of a decent relationship with, and of course I'm very naive. I know that I should never mix, these kind of relationships, but yeah, I don't feel happy necessarily that the case was resolved in my favor, just because of how we have gone through so much. And of course we received our monetary benefits in the form of wage increases, which I shared with you before in the union successes video. But still, to me personally, that was very much not a fun ride, and I understand there were so many things that we did wrong and we should have done it differently. And realizing all of this after the fact is kind of, don't rush. Take your time. If you want to start union organizing, you need to learn about organizing first. And of course, some things would be inevitable. And of course, you are always going to get pushback. It's never going to be just a smooth journey of, your workplace being like, oh yeah, sure, union, come on in. Like, if you need a union, it probably means that there are issues at your workplace that you cannot resolve otherwise. And of course, personally, I wanted to participate in these kind of organizing efforts for experience's sake, and I really did want to help the people. And this was the part that really kind of hurt me the most, that the people didn't really see that as me trying to help all of us. And I kind of shared that before, like there were quite a few people who were like opposing our union and saying that we're rocking the boat and like we should know our place, etc., and like this is just a job, and if you don't like it you can leave. Like, of course, yeah, but what if all the jobs are like this? And under capitalism, all the jobs are like this. You're being exploited, you're being stolen from, your surplus labor is being taken without your consent because you don't even know what it is, usually. And then what are you going to do? How are you going to change that? So yeah, I have mixed feelings. I know that I should be happy. I think I probably need to process this just because emotionally this whole journey has been very much not great, as I already shared. And yeah, I will be processing these emotions, but I still want to point out the fact that it is possible to organize and it is possible to benefit from organizing even in the current conditions. Of course, I think that our case was kind of special and exceptional, but we can see the union movement rising all over the world. Like, I'm hearing about the Scandinavian strikes in Sweden and Denmark and Norway where they don't want to appease the infamous billionaire who's actually broke, apparently, who with their electric cars cannot really do well in Scandinavia. And I am so happy to see all these union movements rising up, the people rising up and claiming their power, especially when war continues to be waged against the people, and especially the vulnerable people in the what we call the global south. This is not acceptable, and I'm so glad to see that more and more people rise up. And it starts small. It starts with those little silly things like we try to do with our union. But now I think we've changed. I think the people who I've organized with, I think even if they don't right now realize just how much we were able to accomplish in the last 2 years, they're going to come around and realize that sooner rather than later, because they will see all of this building up. They will see how all of these other movements are happening as well. And in place of a conclusion, let me just quickly share other union news from our city. Some comrades of ours also tried to start a union, and unfortunately, in their case, they were not successful to the extent that all of them who participated, they got fired on the spot, which is super illegal. And now we're going to raise a huge fuss about it because obviously no organization can do that. And as far as I remember, this was a state organization that did that. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, this is just to show that it's always going to be difficult. And in our case, we were very lucky in many regards, despite all of the emotional hardships that I've described before. But it is going to be a pretty difficult endeavor. So I hope that you are able to organize locally with the people who are like-minded. I hope that you are able to prepare yourselves somewhat, at least, to the hardships that are coming. And I hope that you stay safe, and I hope that you have a great day today, and I'll talk to you sometime later.